We're currently on P&O's Avila, which is the biggest cruise ship in the UK market. We're just getting ready for formal night and we're nearing the end of our 2-week cruise now, so do join us and we can let you know our honest reviews.
So we didn't get off to the best starts with the embarkation. Unfortunately, one of the gangways that connects the terminal building to the ship had broken down. So it did take us an hour and a half to get on board, but we appreciate that problems do occur. So then we got on to the Bay of Biscay. Unfortunately, it wasn't playing nice this time with 70-mile-an-hour winds. So again, not P&O's fault, but it made an interesting start to the beginning of the cruise. Now it is actually a lovely ship, and as you would expect being a new vessel, it is lovely and clean, and the staff were fantastic. They were very helpful, always there ready to give you a hand. One of the things I really liked about it is there was plenty of seating areas. Now that may seem a little bit of a silly thing to say, but I've been on cruises recently where we've struggled just to get a seat to either sit and have a drink in the evening or a coffee during the day. But they've set it out so nicely, and especially in the main atrium with a huge window wall. It's just fabulous just to sit in there, have a coffee and relax. So let's talk about food. Let's be honest, we all put on a few extra pound on a cruise holiday. Now, you've got your buffet, which like most ships is on the back, and normally with the other cruises we've been on, the buffet's been absolutely massive. Lots of different world foods, from Italian to Mexican to English, and lots of choice. However, we were a bit confused when we got on board and the buffet was actually quite small. It took us a little while to work out that there were various buffet stations with seating areas around them. However, there wasn't the choice that there has been on other cruises, and if they had a speciality night with food, if you didn't like that particular food, there didn't seem to be much else. Also in the evening, they didn't have like a cafe, sort of like you get sometimes on Princess or Royal Caribbean, that you can go to get sandwiches and cookies. So when you went up in the evening, it was felt you just had leftovers from dinner. So that was a bit of a shame. And again, another thing that took us a little while to get used of, that there were more restaurants included in your cruise price. Now normally you get the main dining rooms and the buffet, but what they've done is they've added some other places where you can go, and it's also included. There's 6th Street Diner, which is a bit like Johnny Rockets, a 50s diner. That's included in your package. There's Olive Grove, which again, very nice, has some lovely pastas there. And then you've got the Keys, and that's 3 types of food. There's fish chips and mushy peas, so your classic British seaside food. There's Asian fusion, which there were 3 choices of food that you can have. And then you have your roast dinner in a Yorkshire pudding. Now that section wasn't open for the first week of our cruise, but we're glad they got it all sorted, so we did get to have our roast in a Yorkshire pudding, and they're all included in your price as well. There's also to-go food in Taste 360. That's your burgers and your chips and your pizza, which you can just grab anytime you want to. So if you're new to cruising, you may not realise that there's 2 types of dining on board. One is which is included in your cruise price, and the other is which you either pay a cover charge to go in or you buy each dish separately. Now there are quite a number of speciality restaurants on board that you can pay to go in. Some of them were £30 a head cover. As a family, would I want to pay £120 for one meal? Not particularly, but I appreciate everybody has their own likes, dislikes and their own budget. So there are lots of other restaurants for you to try as well. So overall then, the food wasn't too bad. I was a little bit disappointed in the buffet, if I'm really honest, but I did like the fact that you could go to the diner, the Olive Grove, the Keys, it was all included. So that was a first for us, having a choice of other restaurants apart from the main dining room and the buffet. Now, if like us, you're travelling as part of a family, you may wonder what there is for children to do. Now, one thing I can't give an opinion on, unfortunately, is the kids clubs, because our girls didn't want to join in with that, and that's fair enough for us. But there are various kids clubs to go to depending on the age of your children. So, what is there to do? Now, although it's a big ship, it's not going to compete with the other ships that have bumper cars and merry-go-rounds and ice skating rings. There wasn't anything like that for the children to do. Up on the top decks, there was one of these high rope courses, but you had to pay for this. And the other cruises I've been on, that's been free to do. There's a very small splash park, and whoever decided to call the sports arena an arena, I'm not sure they've seen an arena before because it was tiny. Normally you get like a full-size court for playing football or netball or basketball, but this literally was tiny. There is some mini golf on the top, which was free to play as well. The swimming pools and the infinity pools were just that, really. There were no flumes or any slides or anything that you could go on. And there was no arcade. They did have an escape room, but again, this was something that you had to pay for. Now, one thing I absolutely loved on board, and it's the first time I've been on board with a cinema. This is great for adults and children alike. They actually had a 3-screen cinema. There was one child's film and then 2 adults' films as well. They run various times throughout the day, and it's absolutely free to go to. You don't pre-book. It's a good system, really. It's just first come, first served. And there's a very clever screen outside, and it shows you, before you go in, which seats have already been taken. So if you're going along as part of a family, you can see outside without going in if there's seats available. They also do relaxed screening as well, so if you have anybody with any sensory issues, I believe they keep the lighting up for it and they don't mind if you wander around during the performance, so that's quite nice as well. Now, other entertainment, it wasn't bad at all actually. Headliners Theatre, lovely theatre set over 2 levels. We saw Take That, the musical, in there, which was very professional, and there were some other singers in there as well who were all very good. So dotted around as well, especially in the atrium, there were singers, which were nice to sit and listen to, and they also had some aerial artists as well, and they tended to put on a show most evenings. Now, if you're like me and you love a nice coffee, they do serve Costa coffee on board, and I have to say I had the best cappuccino ever, and to be sat on a cruise ship watching the world go by made it taste even nicer. And the good thing is as well, it was about the same price as what I pay for home, so really enjoyed it. Now, if you like to have a flutter, there is a casino on board. It lacked a little bit of the razzmatazz that casinos normally have. There's normally a big sparkly entrance and feels very grand, but this was just kind of walking into a room and there was a casino. So, again, compared to other ships, it lost its glitz and glamour a little bit. It was attached to like an English pub called Brodie's. That was very nice. Now, there's numerous bars on board, some inside, some outside. Our most favourite was the Crow's Nest, situated right on the front of the ship. During the day, the bar wasn't open, but it was somewhere if you needed to just sit and chill, you wanted to read, catch up on some emails. It was really nice, and the view, absolutely stunning, especially with the sunsets in the evening. Now, during the evening, it certainly got livelier. They had a guy on the piano who was very good. And yeah, I would say it was really a nice place. Again, in the evening, they had a dress code, so it was just a bit nice to get dressed up. Another thing I absolutely loved on board was the Sky Dome. Now, this is a swimming pool during the day, but it had a roof over the top, so if the weather wasn't particularly too nice, they had the roof closed, and if it was a glorious sunny day, the roof was open. But where this really came into its own was in the evening. it would be closed over, and it would make a fantastic venue. There were some lovely bands there. There was a big show. Now, the last 2 cruises we've been on different ships, there was no roof over the main pool area. We went in the winter, so obviously it was too cold. So this space was just wasted in clear every evening. So I really thought this was a fantastic part of the ship. One of the other things we really liked as a family, they had a fabulous gym. There were lots of machines. I never had to wait for any once. There's bikes, there's treadmills, all sorts of rowing machines. There was a lot of weight equipment and also free weights as well. There was like a little studio in the corner. Now there were free sort of like stretch and tone classes, but for anything like yoga, there was a charge for that as well. And also a spa if you like to treat yourself. They're pretty standard on most cruise ships now. You can either get spa treatments or hair or nails and all sorts of things. Now, nobody wants to think about laundry on holidays, but one thing that I really liked about P&O is they had quite a few self-serve laundries, and it was absolutely free to use. The only thing they ask you to do is bring your powder. Now, if you're flying to pick up the cruise and you have a weight limit, that's fantastic. And what was really nice, on the last day, we just washed everything, got it all dry, and then we came home with a suitcase full of clean clothes, which was amazing. Now, one of the things I did like being a British ship is, one, the plugs were all what we need for us Brits, and also everything was priced in the pound. Now, the best bit about this on this ship, honestly, the price of stuff you saw on a menu was the price you paid. So what do I mean? You know what it's like on a cruise ship? You order yourself a drink and then realise there's about 20% gratuity to go on top. Now, the gratuities were included on P&O Arvia, and you didn't pay gratuities for drinks as well. And the best bit was that we actually got a discount on the drinks because we'd cruised with P&O before and were part of their loyalty club. We didn't actually pay what the drinks price was in the menu. We actually paid a little bit less, so that was nice as well. So overall, what were our family's opinions of P&O Arvia? Well, actually, we really liked it and really enjoyed it. I know we had a couple of niggles to get on with, and we may not have felt too good over the bay, not P&O's fault, but actually, yes, we did like it. It was clean, it was friendly, we love the cinema, we like the gym, the entertainment is good, so I was actually really pleased. Also, the disembarkation was very smooth. I know we had some problems getting on, but getting off was absolutely no problem whatsoever. So would I personally recommend it? Yes, I would. Does it compete with the bigger ships with things to do for children? Not as much to do, but our girls were happy just chilling about, getting in and out the pool, going to the cinema and the gym. So yeah, it's a big tick from us.